Okay, we're testing early to see if we could do anything about the formatting of this picture, but we seem to not be able to. We've had trouble with sound, so I got on real early, and I'm gonna make sure Mr. Smith knows that I'm on, and then we'll see. Okay, so we'll start, what time is it now? About a minute, a little less. 50 seconds to be precise. Let's hope this presentation goes smoothly, technically anyway. Let's see, I just got a response. Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah, it's always a lot of laughs with Facebook. Good evening. It's 7 o'clock here in the northeast of the United States, and this is the Tibet Center, Kunchap Tarduling, a Buddhist meditation and study center located in New York City and northern New Jersey, under the direction of His Eminence Chabje Ling Rinpoche, and also under the direction of Rato Kensur Tupten Lundub, also known as Geshe Nikki Vreeland. And this is our twice weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma, specifically the Lamrim Chenmo, or Stages on the Path to Enlightenment, sequential presentation of practices you do if you want to go from ordinary person to full Buddhahood. If there's any problem with the transmission of the sound or picture, text me right away or text Mr. Smith. Anyone for whom you want us to pray for when we do the Sutra of the Recollection of the Three Jewels, put their names in the chat box. And as always, I don't see the whole chat box, but others do. If I don't announce someone's name, I'm sorry, but I didn't see it. Or maybe I was too dumb to read it. I don't know. All the prayers we say are on the website in the FAQ section. Scroll down to prayers. So tonight we have a lot to do. We're going to hear from His Holiness Dalai Lama on the two truths and the four seals, SEALS, that make you a Buddhist. And then we will finish out chapter 15 with Geshe Sopa's commentary. And then next class we'll go on to chapter 16. How's that, huh? Figured it out. That chapter is called Not Negating Enough. No, you still didn't negate enough. Or negating too much. I don't know, I forgot. Whatever it is, it's about negation. So we'll start. Prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living here, together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. And that was written by the predecessor of the current Ling Rinpoche, in case you haven't noticed. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi which examines the dharmas called profound illumination, and at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this. Seeing the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form, emptiness is not separate from form, form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing, they are not impure or pure, they neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to the unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayata Om Gate Gate Para Gate Parasam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. Refuge and bodhisattva vow, which of course we say 3 times. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today, in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. May all the pains of living creatures ripen solely upon myself, and through the might of the Bodhisattva Sangha, may all beings experience happiness. May the teachings, which are the sole medicine for suffering and the origin of every joy, be materially supported and honored and abide for a very long time. I prostrate to Manjagosha, through whose kindness wholesome minds ensue, and I prostrate to my spiritual masters, through whose kindness I develop. And now, prayer for the swift return of Rato Chögyam Rinpoche, written by His Holiness Dalai Lama. On the website, of course. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, Soul refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Lozang Tubuang Dorje Chang. Please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the Victor Losang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening, yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existences end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by bodhicitta, drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled, supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel, return as the glory of Losang Tenpe. Magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Sri Mata Devi in the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moon-like face. So we have a lot to do as usual, and we have to get on with it. Cheers. The 4 seals. Yeah, never mind with the jokes or the... That's what makes you technically a Buddhist in one way. Do you know what they are? I'm surprised to find out. Sometimes I ask people who've been studying 10 years, 15 years, oh, okay, she's so-and-so this, I went to his class. What are the 4 seals? So I bring them to the zoo and I show them this. No, I don't. His Holiness Dalai Lama had his great kindness and intelligence, along with Thupten Children, Venerable Thupten Children, a great presenter. This is part of their to be 10-volume series. There are 8 out already. This is volume 2, Foundation of Buddhist Practice, and there you'll find a nice chapter, short but very, very telling chapter on the 4 seals and the 2 truths. So let's see, I get the right page now. It's been a rough day. This is on page 7 of this volume, and I'll show it again. Beautiful presentation. It's a wisdom series. You can get them through wisdom, or you could just listen here, and eventually all of them will come out because I have nothing else to say, and I don't have any ability except to read. So the Buddhist approach. This is very interesting, precise, and very thought-provoking. 4 seals. The issue of distinguishing Buddhists from non-Buddhists existed in olden times as it does now. In ancient India, this was usually done on the basis of philosophical views regarding the nature of the self and phenomena. A convenient and concise way to delineate Buddhist views is, according to the 4 seals as found in the King of Concentration Sutra, the Samadhi Raja Sutra. So that's where you'll find the first presentation of this. It's mentioned here and there. People accepting the 4 seals are considered Buddhist by view. Not by conduct, by view. And those accepting the 3 jewels as their ultimate source of refuge are considered Buddhists by conduct. So you may have the philosophical view, yes, this, but have you done anything to actually start practicing? Well, if you take refuge, then your conduct represents you're a Buddhist by conduct, that's all. No big deal. You're considered that. The 4 seals are 1. All conditioned phenomena are transient or impermanent. Okay? 2. All polluted phenomena are dukkha, unsatisfactory, in other words, in nature. That's a Sanskrit word which is better off left as dukkha, because one of the definitions I found, and Bhikkhu Bodhi said, dukkha is the state where it's impossible to find complete satisfaction. Samsara is dukkha. We're in dukkha. At least I am. Complete satisfaction. Oh, this is good, that's good, but not complete, everlasting, eternal happiness. Not in the state of dukkha, under the dominion of dukkha. Okay? 3, all phenomena are empty. Oh yeah, we heard that. And selfless. And 4, nirvana is true peace. One by one, His Holiness concisely is going to outline them. So try to consider his position, and it may be very, very helpful to you. All conditioned phenomena are transient. Conditioned phenomena are products of causes and conditions, and all of them undergo change, disintegrating from what they were and becoming something new. Change occurs in coarse and subtle ways. Coarse change occurs when the continuum of a thing ceases. Oh, that building finally came down. Oh, that house went out. That's all. Subtle change, which is really what we're talking about now, because acknowledging this changes your thinking. Subtle change occurs moment by moment. It is a thing's not remaining the same from one instant to the next, and they think they say nanosecond, which is a billionth of a second. Constant, in other words, it's constant motion. His Holiness goes on, we can observe coarse impermanence with our senses, yes. We see that after coming into being, things later cease. Yeah. A chair breaks, a person dies, bottles are recycled, okay? Things are changed. Understanding coarse transience is not difficult. I mean, you just have to realize it. We don't need logical arguments to accept this coarse level of change. However, for something to arise and cease in this obvious way, there must be a subtler process of change occurring moment to moment. That change is always going on. That's what he's saying. Without a seed changing moment by moment, a sprout will not appear. Without the sprout growing in each moment, the plant won't come into being. Without the plant aging and disintegrating moment by moment, it won't die. Without subtle, momentary change, coarse change could not occur. This requires some thought, but the fact that things end indicates that they change subtly in each instant. This is not something we always consider, but you should, because this is how you change thinking. Okay, enough. His Holiness goes on, they are transient or impermanent. In Buddhism, impermanent means changing moment by moment. All the main Buddhist philosophical tenet schools, except for Vaibhashika, which has a slightly different understanding of the process of change and cessation, and we're not going there, except that the moment a thing comes into being, it contains the seed of its own cessation, simply by the fact that it is produced by causes and conditions. It has the seed of its own ending, because it's caused. Causes and conditions started, that's automatically means it's going to change moment by moment. Okay? It is not the case that one cause produces a particular thing, that thing remains unchanged for a period of time, and then another condition suddenly arises that causes its cessation. On the gross level, that's what we think. Oh, this building was there, it was going to be there for years, but then lightning struck it, and whoa, it's gone. It was deteriorating moment by moment. The lightning came and finished it off quicker or not. We are deteriorating moment by moment. I don't like it, and who does, but that's the story. Rather, the very factor that causes something to arise also causes it to cease. The factor that causes it to arise causes it to cease. From the very first moment of a thing's existence, it has the nature of coming to an end. The very nature of conditioned phenomena is that they do not last from one moment to the next. From one moment to the next. Generally speaking, when we think of something coming into being, we look at it from a positive angle and think of it growing. When we think of something ending, we have the negative feeling that what existed before is ceasing. We see these two as incompatible and contradictory. However, if we reflect on the deeper meaning of impermanence, we see that its very definition, momentary change, applies to both the arising and ceasing of a thing. Nothing whatever is in the process of arising or the process of ending, nothing, whether it is in the process of arising or in the process of ending, lasts into the next moment. Moment by moment by moment, all of us. The present is insubstantial. It is an unfindable border between the past, what has already happened, and the future, what is yet to come. an unfindable border. I like that. While we spend a great deal of time thinking about the past and planning for the future, neither of them is occurring in the present. The only time we can ever live is in the present, but it is elusive, changing in each nanosecond, there's that word. We cannot stop the flow of time to examine the present moment. This real quick, it's a meditation in itself. You could sit in your own, how do we stop the flow of time? I don't know. Scientists, too, speak of momentary change. Subatomic particles are in continuous motion, and cells in our body undergo constant, imperceptible alteration. When we understand impermanence to mean momentariness, I'm losing it, guys. I'm sorry. When we understand impermanence to mean momentariness, we see that arising and ceasing are not contradictory, but are two aspects of the same process. As His Holiness says, death is a part of life. Buddha died. People come to him, dying, death. The very fact that something comes into being means it will cease. Change and disintegration occur moment by moment. When we understand impermanence in those terms, we'll recognize the significance of the first seal, that all conditioned phenomena are impermanent. Understanding impermanence is a powerful antidote to harmful emotions that plague our lives. Emotions such as attachment or anger are based on grasping. We unconsciously hold the view that the people to whom we're attached will not cease, and that the problem or mood we're experiencing at present will continue. Oh, seems like it. But contemplating impermanence shows us the opposite, since everyone and everything changes. Clinging to people, objects, or situations as being fixed doesn't make much sense. It's a habit we have, I'll add, but it doesn't make sense. Since our problems and bad moods are transient by nature, we do not need to let them weigh us down. Rather than resist change, we can accept it. While the direct and complete antidote to attachment is the realization of selflessness, an understanding of impermanence will prepare our mind to gain insight into the meaning of selflessness. Yes, impermanence is easy to understand after a while, and it's a nice doorway to introduce you to start thinking about emptiness. But, His Holiness goes on, understanding impermanence will not harm beneficial qualities such as love, compassion, and altruism. Why? Because those emotions are not based on unrealistically grasping impermanent things to be permanent. Compassion, love, etc. don't rely on the idea that this thing is a fixed entity. No. Contemplating impermanence gives us confidence that our disturbing emotional habits can change and that excellent qualities can grow in us. I think that whole few paragraphs is a total bomb. Great to blow away our ignorance. Great. The second seal, all polluted phenomena are dukkha, unsatisfactory by nature. Polluted phenomena are those produced under the control of ignorance and its latencies. Because all things in cyclic existence, including our body and mind, are polluted in this way, they are said to be dukkha, unsatisfactory by nature. They are not capable of providing the enduring happiness and security that we seek, that every being seeks. Enduring happiness and security. How are the unsatisfactory circumstances in our lives related to our minds? The Sutra on the 10 Grounds, the Dashabhumi Sukha, which is part of the Avaramsaka Sutra, blah, blah, blah. We don't need it. The Buddha said, the 3 realms are only mind. Well, what does he mean by that? This is a very good explanation. What happened now? We lost the picture? Oh boy. Okay, I got it back. Darren just called me and it knocked the picture out because of my phone, but I got it back. So here are we. Okay. Datsambhumi Sukha says, the 3 realms are only mind. The Buddha said that. The mind-only school says this means that the external physical world that we perceive is nothing but a projection of the mind. Not really. the higher school, Prasangika Madhyamaka school, understands this statement deliberately, saying that it indicates there is no absolute independent creator and that the source of our experiences lies in our minds. Everything, the environment, people we meet, everything, all in our mind. Our virtuous, non-virtuous, and neutral minds, all of these cause the situations that we encounter and the actions or karma that these mental states motivate. So that's the situation. We are undergoing things right now that we created in the past by our actions, who we meet, where we go, where we live, etc. The body we have. From the Buddha's viewpoint, many universes exist simultaneously at different stages of development. Some are beginning while others are devolving. Before a particular universe begins, the potential for material substances exists in the form of space particles. Changing moment by moment, these space particles are not absolute or independent entities. How is the physical evolution of a universe related to sentient beings? Yeah. Their mental states and their experiences of pain and pleasure, happiness and unhappiness, rather. This is where karma comes in. Yeah. Karma is what? Intentional actions done by sentient beings. Intentional. As the potencies remaining from these actions ripen, they shape the evolution of the external world and the condition our experience our experiences in it. So as the mind training school says, don't complain about everything. You created these situations. This is a result of your behavior in the past, good or bad. We always say the hand you're playing now is the one you dealt with in the past life. So that's that. Sentient beings, it only goes on page 10. Sentient beings create karma physically, verbally, and mentally. Okay, body, speech, and mind. Our motivation is principle, for it fuels our physical and verbal actions. Destructive actions are motivated by afflictions such as attachment, anger, and confusion, which in turn are polluted by and rooted in ignorance, an erroneous belief in inherent existence. Even when sentient beings act with kindness, the karma they create is still polluted by the ignorance grasping inherent existence. Yes, this is a tricky statement. Okay, I'm fine. Darren says I'm fine. Okay, great. It's a tricky. So how is like when I give something, work hard, just give something, selflessly give. Why is that polluted by ignorance? What's wrong with that? You have an underlying idea that I'm inherently existent. The thing I'm giving is, and the person I'm giving it to is inherently existent, unless you have an idea of emptiness. So that's slightly polluting. What'll happen there? It won't get you out of samsara, but it'll get you very good conditions in samsara, conditions even conducive to learning. It's a fine point, but a very fine point. When you get the two motivations, bodhicitta, and then also everything is empty. Even if you don't understand it, just say that to yourself. I'm empty, the gift is empty, the action is empty, that's all. Seal it with emptiness. And of course, bodhicitta. The merit from this should go to benefit all sentient beings. That's all. So that's what they mean. It's polluted. So whether the actions are constructive, destructive, they produce rebirth and cyclic existence in a good place or a lousy place. Because unawakened cyclic existence is a product of the undisciplined mind, it is said to be dukkha, unsatisfactory by nature, unawakened to the idea of full true reality. Buddha, bud like a bud that awakened. So secure peace and happiness cannot come from ignorance. For this reason, the second seal of Buddhism is that all polluted phenomena are in the nature of dukkha. The first truth, the truth of dukkha, consists of two factors. Now we're talking about the Four Noble Truths here, so you don't get confused. Dukkha, which we translate as suffering. Suffering, cause of suffering, the first two truths. Consists of two factors. Those in the external environment, such as our nature environment, our tables and oceans, and those internal to sentient beings, our bodies and minds. The outside world, the inside world, that's enough. Within the latter, the feeling aggregate in the internal mind, the primary consciousness and the mental factors that accompany them, and the cognitive faculties that cause these consciousnesses are all unsatisfactory by nature. Your very mind thinking process is unsatisfactory, under the dominion of dukkha. You have to get out. Both the external and internal objects are true dukkha because they come into being due to the polluted karma and the afflictions of ordinary sentient beings. Once someone has eliminated afflictions and karma, she becomes an arhat, someone liberated from cyclic existence. Even so, she may continue to live in the external world, which is true dukkha. In other words, the criterion for being in cyclic existence is not the environment in which a person lives, but her state of mind. That's right, it's not real estate. It's your state of mind. That's samsara, mental posture. Okay. The first two seals are related. We can use the transient nature of functioning things as a reason to show that all polluted phenomena are unsatisfactory in nature. Functioning things are products of causes and conditions, thus they are under the control of other factors. Polluted things, such as our ordinary bodies and unenlightened minds, are under the power of polluted causes, the undisciplined mind, at the root of which lies ignorance. Ignorance of the way things are. Let's put it in that position. As long as our minds remain under the control of ignorance, we live in an unsatisfactory state where the causes of suffering is always present. No matter how good you feel, don't worry, the feeling will pass. Everything's impermanent. So the idea is we got to get out of samsara or dukkha. All phenomena are empty and selfless. Nirvana is true peace. Those are the third and fourth seals, okay? I'm checking the time. Okay. The third and fourth seals are closely related. I think they're cousins. I don't know. The explanation of the third seal, accepted by almost all Buddhist tenet schools, glosses the term empty as the absence of a permanent, unitary, independent self or soul, and selfless as in the absence of self-sufficient, substantially existent person. That's the base thing that all the schools adhere to. It's a very gross presentation. I'll leave it at that. Let's not get arguing about that. There's plenty of time to get into the weeds later on. According to the Prasamika Madhyamaka school, however, which is considered the most accurate view, empty and selfless both refer to the absence of inherent, true, or independent existence. That's how they define emptiness. All the other schools use the word emptiness and this and that, but they have a different thought behind the word. Unless otherwise noted in this book, explanations will be according to this school, the Prasangikas. Yay! Get that t-shirt and wear it. The root of our cyclic existence is the ignorance that grasps phenomena as possessing some sort of independent existence, selfhood, or self-existence. Out there, unrelated to me, no. The word ignorance conjures up the image of something inauspicious or undesirable, and it is indeed just so. Just as whatever grows from a poisonous seed will be poisonous, everything that arises from ignorance will be undesirable. As long as we remain under the control of ignorance and erroneous views, there is no possibility for lasting joy. According to Prasangika, ignorance is not simply a state of unknowing. Key point, we say this whole time, it actively grasps or conceives things to exist in a way that they do not. It projects a false view. It actively grasps or conceives things to exist in a way that they do not. It's not like you don't know the number of this, atoms in a book or something. It's not knowing. It's misknowing, misreading, actually. I say that. But anyway, let him roll on. He knows more than us. Superimposing inherent existence on persons, phenomena, that's a good word, superimpose. It apprehends what is contrary to reality. Reject it, and then we believe it, and it's contrary to the way that things really are. Whereas persons and phenomena do not exist inherently under their own power, ignorance grasps them as existing in that way. I had to look out, the windows closed because it started to rain. As we investigate how phenomena actually exist, our conviction that ignorance is erroneous increases. We start to say, ooh. By seeing and familiarizing ourselves with the wisdom knowing reality, we gradually erode the force of ignorance and the undisciplined mind. When the cause, ignorance, is completely uprooted by its counterforce, wisdom, its resultant dukkha is likewise extinguished. Gone. This state of freedom is nirvana, lasting peace and true freedom, the fourth seal. Therefore, the fourth seal of Buddhism is that nirvana is true peace, real, long, permanent, state beyond sorrow, it's translated in English. Knowing that the evolution of afflictions such as attachment and anger helps us understand the necessity of employing analysis to gain the wisdom realizing the selflessness of persons and phenomena that eradicates ignorance. That's why we're spending time on these inside chapters. If we examine emotions such as attachment and anger, we see that they are rooted in grasping at inherent existence. The stronger our grasping at an independent I, just me, which isn't there, by the way, the stronger our attachment to the concerns of that self. We cling to whatever is seen as important to the self and are hostile towards whatever impedes fulfilling its interests. The egotistic I does not exist. The mere I, yes. The egotistic I wants, gets depressed, gets neurotic. The mere I is watching everything. Not that way, so they say. I'd like to find out. For example, this goes on. We may see a beautiful item that we are very attracted to in a store and we crave to possess it. After we buy it, we call it mine and become even more attached to it. Behind the label mine is the belief in a self whose happiness is extremely important. If someone else then takes or breaks the article, we become angry because the happiness of this I has been adversely affected. Fool, schmuck, whatever you say. Here we see the relationship between our grasping at an inherently existent I and our attachment to the article and anger at whatever interferes with our enjoying it. Refuting the inherent existence of this I eliminates the basis of our attachment and anger, which subsequently diminish and eventually are totally eradicated. Look at these learned yogis. They smile at everything. They're not holding on. They know that, all right, that thing broke. It's not eternal happiness that was giving me. It's useful. Go on. That's all. We have to start thinking now, even if we fake it till we make it, Okay. The distinguishing mark of being in cyclic existence is the mere I being under the control of ignorance and karma. That is, when the aggregates that are the basis of designation of the I produced by these polluted causes, the person designated in dependence on them is bound in cyclic existence. You're holding that I, and that causes you to grasp an inherently existent I, etc. So that's how you get bound in cyclic existence. As soon as that person eliminates ignorance, she no longer creates polluted actions that propel cyclic existence. Her cyclic existence ceases, and that person, the mere I, attains liberation. So this phony self-I that doesn't attain liberation, it can't. It doesn't see reality. Gradually, she can also remove the cognitive obscurations that prevent omniscience, and when this is done, the mere I attains Buddhahood, the state of full awakening or non-abiding nirvana, in which the person abides neither in cyclic existence nor in the personal peace of an arhat's nirvana. So let me see, we have not much time. I'll do a few more words on this, and we'll do the two truths next time. The four seals follow each other in a natural sequence. The existence of our body, mind, self, as well as the people around and the environment around us is governed by causes and conditions. Okay. Thus, their very nature is transient and momentary. The very causes and conditions that brought them into existence are the causes for their disintegration. Remember that. In short, all conditioned phenomena are impermanent, the first of the four seals. The external environment, as well as factors internal to sentient beings, our bodies and minds, came about under the influence of our afflictions and polluted karma. Thus they are unsatisfactory by nature. As the second seal states, all polluted phenomena are dukkha. The story does not stop here. Well, why not? Because there exists a powerful antidote, yay, the wisdom realizing emptiness of inherent existence. That is capable of totally eradicating ignorance, afflictions, and karma. All phenomena are empty and selfless. The third seal. Going through them again. Nice. When emptiness is realized directly and non-conceptually, and the mind becomes habituated with it through consistent meditation, all afflictions and karma causing rebirth are eradicated. In this way, cyclic existence is ceased, and the fourth seal, nirvana is peace, comes about. The four seals are related to the four truths. The first two seals, all conditioned and phenomena are transient and all polluted phenomena are unsatisfactory, describe the first two noble truths, the truths of dukkha, or suffering, and the cause, its origins. But knowing this alone doesn't overcome our suffering, no. just knowing which is. The last two seals, emptiness and selflessness and nirvana, speak of the third truth, true cessations, and imply the fourth truth, true paths. How do you get to the true cessation? By the true paths, as the path that realizes them. By realizing the true path, the wisdom realizing emptiness that knows all phenomena are empty and selfless, we uproot this ignorance that is the root cause of cyclic existence. Its cessation is the fourth seal. Nirvana is true peace. And we'll go on. The two truths next time. I hope this is useful to you. I hope it relieves your suffering. A little bit of mine, it helps. Knowing, how to reconnoiter life helps. Quickly, we'll finish the 15th chapter. Oh, let me grab the book. As I get older, these books get heavier. I don't know, boys. What are we going to do? I'll skip around just to finish because we have about 12 minutes before we start the prayers. Page 230. 230. Well, it's time to go to the dentist. The very last line on 230, Geshe Sopa's Lamrim number 5, his commentary on the whole Lamrim. Chandrakirti's commentary, Clear Words, also says that the phrase, the view of emptiness, in Nagarjuna's verse above refers to emptiness held as a real thing, which must be negated. There is an emptiness of emptiness. That's right. Emptiness is not some, okay, there's everything here, and then there's the world of emptiness that really, no. So, though there is no problem with merely viewing things as empty of inherent existence, of course. Emptiness itself is not to be negated. The verse summary of the perfection of wisdom says, if when thinking these aggregates are empty, a bodhisattva is employing signs, then he or she lacks faith in non-produced abiding. Employing signs means what? Means to hold things as truly existent. Truly, inherently, they're all synonyms in this school. So if a bodhisattva employs signs when thinking about the emptiness of inherent existence, he or she is holding emptiness to be truly existent. In that case, he or she lacks faith in non-inherent existence. The term employing signs derives from the famous phrase, all phenomena are in the nature of emptiness, signlessness, and wishlessness. The key factor is emptiness. Therefore, Nagarjuna's precious garland says, therefore the great sage refuted views of self and selflessness, holding inherent self and self. Okay. Buddha explains two views of the self, the grasping at self of person, which includes the egotistic view, grasping at oneself as inherently existent, and the grasping at a self of phenomena, which is the grasping at things as inherently existent. That's simple. Both the person and phenomena actually exist in the opposite way. They are selfless. Thus, there are two kinds of selflessness, the selflessness of persons and the selflessness of phenomena. Not a big problem. We need to understand selflessness in order to overcome the two views of self. However, if we hold selflessness to be inherently existent, then both our view holding the self and our view holding selflessness will be wrong. In both cases, we'll be grasping at inherent existence. There are many sutras and treatises say that the view of emptiness and the view of selflessness are unsuitable. It is important to realize when they say view, what do they mean unsuitable? Well, It's important to understand these words as they're explained there. In short, the view of emptiness means holding emptiness to be inherently existent. The key word is view, and you have to have it explained, otherwise you get confused. The view of selfless means holding selflessness to be inherently existent. Viewing emptiness or selflessness as real or inherently existent is incorrect. All things are empty and selfless. The statements in the sutras and treatises are not rejecting emptiness and selflessness. They must be understood to mean that viewing emptiness or selflessness as truly real is incorrect. Yeah, there's the real emptiness there. That's an emptiness is ultimately existent. Some schools think that. Otherwise, they would contradict many other statements in the scriptures. For instance, in the for example, in the Heart Sutra, when Shariputra asked the great Avalokiteshvara how to practice and train in the profound perfection of wisdom, Avalokiteshvara replies, can I get back to you? No, he doesn't say it. Perfectly see that the five aggregates are empty of inherent existence. The verse summary of perfection of wisdom says, one who understands fully that phenomena are not inherently existent is practicing the supreme perfection of wisdom. And Chandrakirti's introduction to the middle way, come on in, here's the middle way. By seeing that the self and belonging to the self are empty, the yogi becomes completely liberated. So Yes, we understand emptiness, blah, 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 but don't make it a thing. Don't reify it. These three quotations say the same thing about emptiness. The first two explicitly mention the absence of inherent existence, the third includes it implicitly. Okay. The root of all suffering and cyclic existence is the ignorance that superimposes an inherent nature on things. Many methods are taught to temporarily control and subdue ignorance, but they are not enough to completely get rid of it. How do we do that? We must develop the wisdom that directly and completely contradicts ignorance and the way of grasping at inherent existence. Wisdom apprehends things in a way completely opposite to the way ignorance does. Ignorance holds its object to be inherently existent. Wisdom holds its objects to be non-inherently existent. Okay. The object does not exist in the way that is held by ignorance. Ignorance is a false projection. It is not reality or real. Okay? We think it's real from our side. Well, yeah, that's the truth. Truth for control, or concealer, rather. No. Gets us by. We operate in that world. But it's not the ultimate reality. Wisdom correctly understands how things exist because the wisdom that understands selflessness or non-inherently existent directly contradicts ignorance. It is the only thing that can uproot it. That's it. This is an important point because all the Buddhist schools below Prasangika believe that non-inherent existent means nothingness or non-existent. Be careful there. When they hear non-inherent existent, they mean, no, it doesn't exist. They're wrong. So why do they present that? To gradually get used to the more subtle view. That's all. If you negate the way that wisdom apprehends its object and say that emptiness itself is not emptiness of is not empty of true existence, then you're rejecting the correct view of reality. You made it a thing. You have to accept this even if you do not want to. The valid knowledge directly perceiving emptiness is the only way to achieve the peace of liberation, nirvana, and total and permanent freedom from suffering and its causes. Aryadeva's 400 says, one and only door to peace. It destroys the wrong views. It's the object of all the Buddhas, that which is called selflessness. Chandrakirti comments on this. Do we have time? Yeah. The complete extinction of attachment is the cause of attaining nirvana. Except for perceiving a non-inherent existence, there's no other dharma that causes complete extinction of attachment. Therefore, this selflessness with the nature of non-inherent existence is a door to peace. There is no other. It alone is the only incomparable door to entering the city of nirvana, although there are said to be three doors to liberation: emptiness, signlessness, and wishlessness. The principal one is selflessness, or emptiness. Okay? From where there is an understanding that all phenomena are selfless and attachment towards everything is exhausted, how could there be the apprehension of signs on the striving to attain anything? Thus, this understanding of selflessness is the only, one and only, door to peace. The Jangchup Jitsog, requisite for enlightenment, says, in seeing the empty to be empty of inherent existence, what use would there be for signs? Since all signs would be reversed, what would the wise be wishing for? So I'm going to skip because we don't have time. We only have 4 minutes, okay. Okay. This is again repeating what we had last week. There are various ways to explain why the wisdom understanding selflessness is the only door to liberation. First, emptiness, signlessness, and wishlessness are ways to express selflessness from different points of view. The three doors, they're useful, but emptiness is the principle. Once a practitioner understands that all phenomena are empty of inherent existence, he or she may pray to actualize the path and accomplish its result, Buddhahood. However, the Bodhisattva does so without any thought of an inherently existent cause or an inherently existent result. The cause's lack of inherent existence is signlessness. The result's lack of inherent existence is wishlessness. Cause and result, that's all signless and wishlessness refers to. So it is only in terms of understanding emptiness that the three doors to liberation are designated. Second, each thing can be understood to have attributes. The three doors of liberation. A thing's nature is its emptiness of inherent existence. The thing arises from a cause which is its sign or mark, and its cause is empty of inherent existence. The thing produces its result, expressed as a wish. That's where the word wishlessness comes in. And its result is empty of inherent existence. In sum, Each thing is empty of inherent existence from the point of view of its nature, its cause, and its result. Everything in reality. Third, although some phenomena are permanent and have no cause, for instance, uncaused space and emptiness, we can understand them in terms of the three doors to liberation expressed as the action, the agent, and the object of the action. Although emptiness is not cause and does not produce a result, it is the basis of activity to function. That's right. If things weren't empty, nothing would cause anything. Everything would be a static situation. Therefore, it has an action, an agent, and an object of action associated with it. This also applies to space, because within space there is coming, going, and arising. It's very tricky the way without space we cannot have physical movement, because physical movement is based on space. Think this way. They're very clever. Fourth, we can say that all phenomena, including permanent phenomena, have emptiness, signlessness, and wishlessness as a conventional expression of their identity. Every phenomenon has a definition that symbolizes its own identifying characteristics. In this sense, these characteristics may be called a cause of identification, and the defined thing may be called an effect of identification. This kind of cause and effect is not causality in the sense of a producer and product. Every phenomena has this kind of cause, effect, and nature, and the three doors to liberation can be explained in terms of them. This thinking is very interesting. Go over it sometimes when you have time. It starts to form your mind in a different way. In summary, the three doors of liberation are aspects of the direct realization of shunyata. Everyone who gains liberation has developed a complete understanding of emptiness in terms of every aspect, nature, cause, and result. Understanding emptiness from these 3 points of view is the door to liberation. Thus, the three doors to liberation are in fact only one. In this way, Chandrakirti removes any apparent contradiction between the explanation that there are 3 doors to liberation and the explanation that there is only one door of liberation. What do you need 3 for? One's enough. Yeah, why spend the money? Namely, the view understanding the emptiness of inherent existence. That's the only door you need, folks. This explanation is established by reasoning and scripture. So who are you to argue with it? The object held by the wisdom negating inherent existence is the antidote to grasping at the 2 kinds of self as inherently existent. This wisdom does not have even a mere trace of grasping at inherent existence, because inherent existence doesn't exist. This understanding should not be negated. You can't. If you say that even this thought must be negated because all thoughts, whether good or bad, are defective, then it is clear that you want to establish the view of the Chinese Abhic Hashang Mahayana. Same thing, Tsong-kha-pa. Probably was, I don't know. Same way that Tsong-kha-pa ended his chapter. Throughout the LAM and CHEN mode, Tsong-kha-pa emphasized that we should not take this approach. If we follow Hashang's advice and simply stop any kind of thought, there will be no studying, no learning, and no understanding of the Madhyamaka view. According to Chandrakirti and the followers of the Indian Madhyamaka, this is a great obstacle to spiritual progress, and it is not the current or past Zen position at all. If you read the 6th Patriarch, you come down against that. It's not a blank mind, etc. Anyway, enough. For whom will we pray? I hope I can read this. Saring Paljaw. I don't know, Saring. Bulla Bulla, Radha, how are you? I don't see anyone here. Mark, you're alive. Very good. Okay, whatever. There's so many people who, just read the newspaper. You got plenty of people to read it online. It's a killing field, this world. I prostrate, to the recollection, Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagava, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak, Sang Buddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans, is the Buddha Bhagavat. Tathagata is in accord with all merit, does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He's not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats, who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavat, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Yana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. Prayer for the flourishing of J. Tsong-kha-pa's teachings, recommended by His Holiness as a cause for the quick return of Rato Chungla Rinpoche. On the website. Though he is the father, producer of all conquerors, as a conqueror's son, he produced the thought of upholding the conqueror's Dharma in infinite worlds. Through this truth, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. When of yore in the presence of Buddha Indraketu, he made his vow, the conqueror and his offspring praised his powerful courage. Through this truth, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. That the lineage of pure view and conduct might spread, he offered a white crystal rosary to the sage who gave him a conch and prophesied. Through this truth, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. His pure view free of eternity or destruction, his pure meditation cleansed of dark fading and fog, his pure conduct practiced according to the conqueror's orders, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Learned, since he extensively sought out learning. Reverent, rightly applying it to himself. Good, dedicating all for beings and the doctrine, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Through being sure that all scriptures, definitive and interpretive, were without contradiction, advice for one person's practice, he stopped all misconduct. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Listening to explanation of the three Pitakas, realized teachings, practice of the three trainings, his skilled and accomplished life story is amazing. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Outwardly calmed and subdued by the hearer's conduct, inwardly trusting in the two stages practice, he allied without clash the good paths of Sutra and Tantra. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Combining voidness explained as the causal vehicle with great bliss achieved by method, the effect vehicle, hard essence of 80,000 Dharma bundles, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. By the power of the ocean of oath-bound doctrine protectors, like the main guardians of the three beings' paths, the quick-acting Lord, Vaishravana, Karma Yama, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. In short, by the lasting of glorious Gurus' lives, by the earth being full of good, learned, reverent holders of the teachings, and by the increase of power of its patrons, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Or teaching, I don't know, teaching. Read it as read. 8 verses on training the mind by the great Langtri Tsong-kha-pa. Hold on, I'm losing my voice. I found it. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings, who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions, I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness, directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. So this is the Tibetan-Sana's conclusion of the Tibetan-Sana's presentation. I'm tagging Tibetan on either end of the thing so we can copyright it in some way, I don't know. Anyway, the next class is Wednesday night, which is the 14th. And then we'll continue with chapter 16 of the LAM, and we'll finish up His Holiness's presentation of the two truths. And this Saturday there will be Tara at the parsonage. You're all invited. Unless some strange, another inversion of the air occurs, then I would advise people to stay home. But otherwise, that's 1 o'clock on Saturday. So thank you very much for your patient listening to a very difficult topic. Big love to all of you.